of Inspiration. So as you can see from this card, the 10 of Inspiration, she's walking along, her head's kind of down, and she's dressed darkly. So the 10 of Inspiration is all about creativity. It's all about ideas. It's all about, the things that we come up with. And so when I think of ideas, and hopefully you guys are with me on this, I think of, brilliance and yay, I have an idea. But that's not always the case. Sometimes we think of ideas, because as I've talked about so many times, most of our life actually happens in our heads. We think of an idea, and it might be a negative idea. It might not be a creative idea. Well, they're always creative, I suppose, because they're using your imagination. So sometimes you end up with ideas that make you look like this. So she's got this big vase that she's carrying, and it's got like sparkly things coming out of it because it's ideas, but she's not in the right frame of mind, maybe. And I want to talk about that today. I want to talk about labels in general. So here's where the waxing poetic happens. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about in the first place. So the 10 of Inspiration is allowing me to do that. So here we go. Labels. Now there's all kinds of labels, like procrastinator, perfectionist, whatever the case may be. There's all kinds of labels like that. But honestly, every single word can be a label of sorts. And we love to label things as good or bad, positive or negative. And we do it throughout our entire day, and we do it really, really quickly. And we do it relationally. Humans, that's what we all are, learn relationally. So for example, and this is going to be like, I'm hesitant to even say this, but not too long ago, we had the whole negativity against masculinity. And that just drove me nuts, because it was like, masculinity is something described in the dictionary, and you can't just throw the word toxic in front of it and make it something else. Masculinity is still what masculinity is. However, we all have our perceptions of what things are, even though there is a dictionary definition. And then that made me think, well, who made up the dictionary definition? Like, all of these things are developed so very long ago. And as I said, I apologize, I'm gonna wax poetic here. My whole point is that our ideas come to us, and then we make it negative or positive in our own minds, and it's all related to our past and our theories on who we are and how we got to where we are. And all of that is BS. Take a look at my show, No BS Talk, or listen to it, it's a podcast. It's all BS. You've all grabbed onto different labels, all of you, and us, me as well. And we stop ourselves, or we start ourselves, and most often, sadly, it's stop ourselves because of a label that we put on our own idea. So that's my blah, blah, blah on the 10 of Inspiration. So what do we do about this? What's our guidance for this week? We'll grab the guidance cards now. So what's our guidance? How do we get past this BS that we bring up in ourselves all the time? It's so interesting. I've got so many things filtering through my mind right now of all these situations in my own past, and listening to other people talk, and they're, I have an idea in our mind, and before we even manage to look at it, really, we've already decided what we need to know about that. So our guidance cards, how do we get past our BS? So we got the Keeper of the Scales here. So the Keeper of the Scales is all about balance and really about justice. This card reminds me of the Justice card. And if it's possible, whatever idea, whatever theory is going through your mind right now, try and look at it from a greater vantage point. So don't look at it as your idea or somebody else's idea, or positive or negative. Look at it just as it is. And is it feasible to move forward with that idea? Okay. Irrelevant, relevant, who knows? I'm in the gym this morning, and there's a gentleman that comes into my gym, and he's lovely, and I like having, short little conversations with him, and I know he goes for walks all the time, and I go for walks all the time. So I'm like, why don't you just tell him to let you know when he's going for a walk, and you can go together and have a conversation or whatever, and it'll be much nicer than going by yourself. And I'm like, oh no, I can't do that. Why can't I do that? I don't know. I've labeled it as bad for me to say something to him because I'm the female and he's a male. And I don't want to date this person. It's not even in that energy, but it's so fascinating to me when I stopped and I looked at what I was doing and the conversation I was having with myself. Long story short, I did tell him, hey, next time you want to go for a walk, if you want, I'll join you. And he's like, oh, awesome. But I mulled it over. There should have been no mulling. Why do we turn our ideas into positive or negative? So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys today. It's all about fairness and balance. Look at things from a higher perspective so that you can realize how ridiculous you are. Sometimes in small ways and sometimes in big ways, but we're often ridiculous. I like the word ridiculous today. It was said to me yesterday. I really enjoyed it. Okay, and waxing poetic. Now, whose energy are we going to be in for the next week? Okay, so because this is a weekly reading, you're supposed to look at all of your ideas. All of your ideas. And instead of labeling them positive or negative, good or bad, try to look at them from a higher perspective. And sometimes that higher perspective is just somebody outside of you. Whoever you revere. Maybe it's a mentor or something. And maybe it's just a friend. How would they look at your idea? Would they look at it the same way as you're looking at it? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But again, it's just an interesting project. Look at all your ideas and try to remove the labels of good or bad, positive or negative, yay or nay, and just have them as an idea. And then, thank you cards. After you've taken the labels off of your ideas, then take a leap of faith, because that's what we need to do this week. We're going to take a leap of faith. And I did that in a very small way in the gym this morning, and I'm really proud of myself. Pat myself on my back. Hopefully you guys are going to be proud of yourselves. Take a leap of faith. Take a leap of faith. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next week. It's julieturner.ca. If you want to, I actually do more than just read cards. I am a hypnotherapist and a coach, and I'm happy to support you in whatever way that you are stuck in your own ideas and to help remove those labels. Love to hear from you. Thank you so much, and have a great day.